Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Damon, how are you, man?
Awesome. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to say thank you so much for reaching out and wanting to be on and tell me a bit about your story.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. I'm really excited to do this. I listened to a few of the shows before, and I was like, yeah, I want to get on that.
That's awesome. I appreciate it. So,
Mhm.
your song just came out yesterday, All Night. That was a really good song. Congratulations on that.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
It's definitely like a driving kind of song. Like I can just vibe to that in the car.
Awesome. Yeah, you'll definitely if you're driving with that one, you might get like an extra pep in your step towards the end.
Yeah, might get in a car accident actually.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
So, tell me a bit about yourself and like how did you get into the music scene?
Oh man. I've I've been making music since I was like 12. Um, so I guess really like I guess when I was 12, I that's when I started like writing music and like joining like crappy local bands. Or mainly just starting ones with my friends that never like really turned into anything.
Yeah.
Um, and then when I was about 16, I want to say 16. There's this band, Get Scared. They're like one of my favorite underrated bands. I don't know if you've ever heard of
Oh
them.
yeah, I'm very familiar with Get Scared.
All right. I actually, so when I was about 16, the singer Nick Matthews, he had quit the band for whatever reasons, and I actually auditioned for that. Like, they didn't even have like an open audition or anything. I was just like, wait, he's out, and they're gonna keep being a band. Hold on, screw
That's
it.
awesome.
I'm gonna post something. So I did a cover. It was like a vocal only cover of Sarcasm because I tried playing it with guitar and it was just like it just wasn't sounding as good. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna just go full acapella. I'm gonna post this on the internet. I'm gonna post it on their Facebook page, and I'm gonna see what happens. Because this was before Facebook's algorithm changed. So you posted it, everyone saw it right away.
Hmm.
Um, so I posted that video and it got like a lot of heat, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, this is weird." Like so much to the point where like I even talked to Johnny um, before um, before they hired the other guy, and he was, like actually like kind of rooting for me, and like I still vaguely talk to him every now and then. Um, but that was really like my first starter into like the music scene, like in a legit way, I guess.
Gotcha.
Um, and then from there, I was asked to join a band, but it was a metalcore band, like pretty much specifically, and I was like, I like metalcore. I've been in metalcore bands, but it's not really my thing. Like, I love like I've always been more of a punk fan than a metal fan,
Yeah. Your music says that
but
for sure.
yeah, I try. And I do try. Like, if you've heard my other single, "I'm in Trouble," like, it's pretty much a metal solo. Like,
Hmm.
that's always been my thing. It's like I love solos. I like metal. I like, but I really love punk, and I really love pop punk and like emo tunes, like because that's what I grew up on. Um, but yeah, so I was joining this metalcore band just briefly because I kind of like the music, but honestly, like I was definitely a snake in that band, and I just like wanted to steal like my favorite members
Hmm.
and put them in my band. And that's kind of what ended up happening. So I ended up starting this band, the Black Hollow, which was definitely more in line with My Chemical Romance and Get Scared, and kind of just more of that like emoer
Yeah.
side
Emo
of
punk kind of
punk.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. If you dig for it, you could probably find a track or two. And that was really fun. Like they were all my friends, and I met this guy, Matty Hoffman. Um, and yeah, he and I, like, we just wrote a bunch of songs together. Like, definitely where I was at my life, and definitely where he was at his life. We were like the perfect match for where we were. And so we wrote like, God, like 50 songs probably. Like, I would just go to his house and I'd sit on a couch and he'd be like, "Hey, my girlfriend's not gonna be home for 5 hours, so let's do what we can." And like, we'd write a song, and then he'd be done for the day because that's like normally his thing. And I'm like, "Oh no, dude, we're not done. I got like 3 more. Let's go." So that was that, and we ended up doing that band for a while. We recorded with Matt Good from First to Last, and we had a really fun time doing that. Ended up recording like 2 songs with him, and then pretty much right after that, Maddie joined Beyond Unbroken, and then he got me in on that, and I stayed in that band for like 5 years, and then I quit, and then I was like, I don't know what I want to do, like with anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up writing actually this song. I ended up writing All Night, and it was like late 2019. I like literally had just quit the band, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make music anymore, but this song's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I wrote that. I wrote this song, and then March of 2020, I went and recorded it up in Phoenix, and then the entire world shut down. So I was like, oh, I don't want to put this out right now.
Yeah.
And it kind of just stayed locked in the vault for, forever. And then, like, honestly, it was probably April or May. I remembered that I had this song because I write songs like every other day. So I have written already like at least my next 3 albums. But I'm only doing singles at a time right now. But yeah, I remembered I had this song pretty much it was just ready to go. And I was like, wait, like, because the original version of this song of All Night is, it's really more just like a straight up pop R&B song. Like, seriously, like what you hear in the verses of All Night was like the vibe of the entire song. Yeah, so it was definitely like a different vibe. And I was listening to it and I was like, like, this is cool, but it's not where I'm at in my life right now. Especially like musically, like it's still great. I'll probably release that version at some point, but I was like, I really want to do something different. So I had Ryan Demison, who I've worked with since Black Hollow. Like, he was the engineer on the Black Hollow. He engineered the first Beyond Unbroken EP. He produced the album that I was still in the band with at the time when they recorded that. So I like actually just worked with Ryan like this month.
That's awesome.
So I've worked with him. Yeah, I've worked with him forever. So I just had Ryan send me the song, and then I've been working with this other guy too, Ty. He plays bass in my backing band as well. So he's also like a fantastic producer, but his vibe is definitely different. And he brought like the punk elements into this song because I sent him the song and he was like, "This is cool, man." And I was like, "Yeah, I had this idea. I like want to punk it up." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like, and so we talked about it kind of back and forth, and then like literally same day he was like, "I think I understand what you mean," and he sent me almost exactly the version that you hear now. And I was like, "Yeah, that's it. Nailed it."
That's awesome. So
yeah, so
if we can go back for a second, how would you describe your time with Beyond Unbroken?
For the most part, good. It's definitely like, it's like any past relationship, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't end on the best of terms, but I wish those guys all the best of luck. Like at the end of the day, I'm a fan. Like the whole reason I joined that band was because I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Just to kind of go into it in a little more detail, if you don't mind. So when that band was first starting, Monty had put out a tweet, saying like, "I'm looking for a guitarist that you can think could keep up with me." And I actually I sent him Matty Hoffman, like, because that's my guy. Like, and he literally is like, to this day, I've worked with a lot of musicians. I've met a lot of people. Matty Hoffman is the best guitarist probably alive right now. Like, honestly, any person you could think of, he probably could outshred them. Like, he's just that good. And the cool thing about him is he's also like, honestly, like, he's a good writer on top of all of it, and that's more important to me. But at the same time, being the greatest guitar player alive is also probably pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, like I had saw that tweet because I had been an Escape the Fate fan for like ever. Like one of my first bands I ever started was called Hearts on Auction, which is a lyric from uh, Escape the Fate song off their first album. I believe it's Reverse This Curse. But I've been like a huge fan. I love Ronnie and Craig. Like to this day, I still love Escape the Fate. I really enjoyed their last album. But yeah, I mean, just being a fan, I want my friends to succeed, because if my friends succeed, I succeed. Like that's I want everybody that's my friend to go up.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you guys are all just talented dudes just trying to make a career out of what you do best,
Exactly. So I sent that, and obviously Monty was like, "Well, yeah, this guy's amazing." And like I remember even like him saying like, Maddie's better than me." But yeah, I sent him that, and I just ended up getting flown out there, like, because Maddie was flown out there like right away, pretty much joined the band instantaneously, and then Maddie, just being a cool dude, was like, "Hey, I got this friend who's like a really big fan. He could probably give you a good opinion." And because he was showing them, I think at the time they had like 5 songs. Yeah, I think they had 5 songs. And so Maddie was like, just putting that good word, just being a good friend, because he knew I was a fan. And yeah, they were like, "Yeah, send him out." So we ended up hanging out. First day, Michael picked me up. It was a little weird, but I was just there. I was just stoked to be there. I thought this was cool. I'm gonna hang out with the dudes from Escape the Fate and listen to what they're working on, and that's that.
Was that kind of like a surreal feeling, like listening
It definitely
to Escape the Fate
was
for so many years, and then like hanging out with the guys that made it?
Yeah, it definitely was like insane. Like I'm like deadly afraid of planes. Like nobody could get me on a plane, but I went on a plane for that. I was like, all right, yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
He was like, "Dude, when can you be here?" And I was like, "I'll be there tomorrow." Bet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so they picked me up. We hung out. We went to the beach. I saved Maddie's life because we went to the beach and he got like sucked up by the ocean. So I had to like literally drag him and bring him back to shore. So I like legit saved his life. So he owes me a life debt forever.
Sweet.
So I can't remember. I'd say it was probably like later on during the day is when Monty finally came back to his house, and we went out, had dinner, talked, and then he showed me songs. I was just, I don't like, I'll sugarcoat, but I don't like to lie. I'm not a yes man. Like, that's just not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to pretend like I like something just because you're who you are. If you want my honest opinion, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to be nice about it, but I'm going to give it to you if that's what you want.
Yep.
And that's what he said. He's like, "Dude, just tell me what you think. Tell me what you like." And I just told him, I was like, this song is cool, this song is cool, and this song is cool. Which, those 3 songs ended up making the EP. They were Suffocate, Memories, and Don't Wake the Dead. At the time, it was called Brutality. I remember that. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he showed me those 3 songs, and like I was like, those 3 songs are amazing. I'm not gonna lie, I hate the other ones. They're just I know you can do better. Like, this isn't on par with that. And it might have just been that moment where Monty was like, who does this kid think he is? I was like, well, you wanted to know, man. Like, it's not my thing. Because they were definitely more songs that were like, I don't even know, like a little bit more like new metal-ish, but not, I don't know. I still don't like those songs. But, and they never released them. I think one of them was like an Escape the Fate song that like was never released, and then like that actual song ended up getting leaked, I think, like the Escape the Fate version, so that idea was out the window right away for them.
Oh.
But yeah, it was super cool. It was just super surreal because I was like, I literally, like, when I was first starting bands when I was like a teenager, I would show them This War Is Ours and the First Guillotine, and I was like, if you can't play those solos, you can't be in my band. So like actually meeting that guy and hanging out, I was like, this is insane. And then like I would say about a month or so later, well, I guess actually let me backtrack a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I stayed there for I think like 2 or 3 days, and that first day was literally just that whole encounter. Second day, we just hung out and we just talked music business and music, and they asked like who Maddie and I think they should go to, because they were going to go to somebody, but I wasn't a huge fan, and I knew that Matt Good was amazing, and I was like, you guys should go to Matt Good, like, because at the time he was dirt cheap to work with. Like, it was, I wish that Matt Good still cost the amount he did. But I was like, dude, trust me, Matt Good is one, he's an amazing writer. I know you guys know his music, and I know you like his music. So getting to work with that writer is going to be awesome, because there are certain producers that you'll work with that are more just there to push the buttons and be like, okay, yeah, that sounds cool, dude. Okay, all right, bye. Thanks, give me money. But then there's producers like a Matt Good, like a Ryan, like a Ty. When you're in their studio, they're a member of your band. They're going to write music with you. They're going to help you figure it out and make the best possible product. And to me, those are the best kinds of producers.
Yeah.
So I was like, he's the next thing. We need to go. You guys need to go to him, because I wasn't even in the band. I was just a fan. So they listened and they went to Matt Goods. And fun little fact about Matty Hoffman is, at least at the time, I still don't think, but he did not have a driver's license, and I don't think he knew how to drive a car. So obviously, he needed someone to drive him up. That's going to be his buddy. So I went up, we hung out, we talked, we worked a little bit on a song. I can't remember which one. I think they were trying to figure out the chorus to Don't Wake the Dead. And Monty and I just kind of sat there, and we figured that one out together, and it was pretty cool. And then they were writing Losing My Mind, and they just had like an idea of the verse, and I ended up writing the chorus kind of just on the spot. And I remember, like, after it was recorded, Monty took me in a room and asked if I wanted to be in a band, and I was like, hell yeah, I want to be in a band. But I was like, so what do you want me to do? And he's like, I want you to play bass. And I was like, oh, I've never played bass in a band. Like, I can play bass, but that's never been my thing, like I've literally, since I've started music since I was 12, I've always been a vocalist and, a songwriter. So I dabble at playing guitar, I dabble at playing bass, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And he was like, no man, like I think, like I really want to be the singer, and I think like in the future, like you can definitely sing on stuff too, and we can make it work and it could be super cool. And I was like, all right, yeah, I mean, that's what you want to do. And like once I joined the band, I was like, all right, like I guess that's cool. And they asked if I wanted to sing backups, and I was like, maybe, yeah, I guess probably maybe. But then like I heard Matt Good sing the backups, and I was like, we sound exactly the fucking same. Sorry, can I cuss?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. I was like, dude, we sound exactly the fucking same, and it's taking him 1 take, and it's taking me 3, so, like, let's just have him do it. Like, to this day, like, honestly, Matt Good and I, like, we do sound, like, almost exactly the same. Just our tone, I think. But, yeah, we did that. We wrote a bunch of songs, and that was really how that first EP came together. It was just like we all had something to prove, and I think that's why, if you go back and listen to that first Beyond Unbroken EP, it's, to me, to this day, it's still just super good.
Oh yeah.
Like it's so good, and we all just had something to prove. Like I wanted to prove that like I can make it. I could do this. And Maddie was kind of in the same position. He was like, I know I can do that. And then they wanted, to just prove that they still got it. Like they wanted to prove like we're the guys that wrote, these albums that these kids love, and we want to prove it. So it was just such a cool term. We did, I'd say like, I know the first session with Matt Good was like probably a week or 2 long. We just booked him for that whole time, and then we kind of came back here and there. Funnily enough, we actually in the first sessions recorded this song "Hold On," which we never released until the like follow-up album where after I quit the band. After that had dropped, that's when we recorded that song years and years ago, like literally 5 years before it came out.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
So did you record the Running Out of Time album with them? I
did, yeah. I'm in all the videos for that except for All in My Head. But I did. I was in those sessions. I wrote a lot of lyrics with Monty and Johnny Lemons later. And that was like, it was just such a different time. Like, there was so much, like, it's weird to say, like, it's weird to think about, but there was just so much, like, I don't know why I'm here kind of things, Like, I didn't want to do it anymore at that point. Like, there had been so much arguments.
Was it just musical differences, or?
It wasn't musical differences. It was just, like, I don't know, personality differences. I don't know. It was literally just like, I would say musically, Monty and I worked super well together. Like I kept that dude on track. Like in a weird way to say, like I talked to that dude every single day I was in that band for 5 years straight. Every day he and I texted. We were literally best friends.
Mm.
Like. But I just, over time, I just didn't want to do it anymore. And I was just like, guys, like, I'm not happy. I'm not making the things I want to make. We were having differences in, like, a lot, like, almost every aspect except writing music. Like, that's the one thing Monty and I did super well together. Like, I would give that dude, like, I would say, like, I'm listening to this, this, and this. And he'd be like, I'm listening to this, this, and this. And I'd be like, let's try to combine all these weird things together and see what happens. And that's pretty much what that whole album is.
Yeah.
It's just, like, this is, I'm listening, to, like, more new rappers. Like I'm listening to like, and this was like before they died. I was listening to Little Peep and XXX Like I was definitely in that like SoundCloud trap rock, vibe. And he was listening to like a lot of The Weeknd. Like that was like his favorite artist. And like, just a lot of like more pop. And I was like, why don't we combine all of this? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, literally none of us, not even Michael, despite whatever he'll tell anybody, that dude did not listen to metal anytime I was in the car. No, none of us were listening to metal. Like, at all. Like, I was listening to this trap rock, Monty was listening to, like, pop, strictly, and Michael was listening to more just, like, I don't know, like, industrial kind of stuff, kind of. And so like none of us were listening to metal, and I was like, why are we trying to write a metal album? Why are we trying to write an emo album? Like, let's just write what we like. Like, why do we have to like try to like do what everybody thinks we should do? Like, let's just do something else.
Yeah, I got you. Do you think that they were trying to write a metal album because that's what their fan base was? Escape the Fate, and they moved over to Unbroken, so they're expecting heavy metal stuff.
I think so, and I think a really great example of how you can do metal stuff, but you can do weird, wild stuff is Bring Me the Horizon. Being able to mix all those things together, it's hard to do, but it's doable. And that was my goal. I was like let's mix everything we like together. We should put out a metal song, which they did. What is it? I can't remember the last metal single they did. Not off that album, but it's like Make Me Feel Alive or something. Or Make Me Alive. Whatever. So we did do a metal song, but it was just like, it just wasn't coming naturally, Like I said earlier, I've never been a huge metal fan, but I'm a fan of just good music, Yeah. And I know when they're phoning it in and when they're trying hard. And the metal music that they were writing at the time, it just wasn't on par with things prior. It just wasn't. And I was honest about it. I was like, these other songs sound way better. So let's focus on these, and we can focus on writing more metal tunes. I was more in line with wanting to write more of a This War Is Ours type of song. Like, if we're going to do it, that's the type of metal song we should go for. Super shreddy, super wild. And we never really ended up doing that. Like, it was more just a lot of chugs. And I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah, I gotcha. So what song do you think that you like the most doing on the Running Out of Time album?
God, man, they're all super fun to do. I think the song that ended up meaning the most to me, they never end up even putting out. And actually, I think they just put out, but it's like a remix version. God, what is the name of that song?
Yeah,
With or Without Me.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah. I helped co-write that song. That was like at this time when those lyrics were being written. Like, I was so just in a dark place. Like, my relationship had just fallen apart. I had just lost my job. I was just like, I'm just gonna drink and hate everything and everyone. Like, I was like gone.
Yeah.
And so when I was writing those lyrics, like, I was just writing about how I felt at the time. So that really meant a lot to me. That song was a co-write between me, Johnny Lemons, and Monty. And the fun thing is, you'll never be able to know who wrote what, but it's also a sad thing because I will probably never get credit for that one, but it's all right.
Yeah.
I guess, but songs off that actual album would probably just be Running Out of Time. Like that song, I love that song. To start it, I love it still. I think it's a really good song. But that song was definitely like us feeling. Well, one, it was that song is part like my guilt. Like I felt like I was holding the band back because of my desire to not want to be there. Like that was my feeling when I was writing lyrics to that song, and then Monty also was co-writing with me, and I think for him it was more just like I feel like we're literally just running out of time for our careers. Like that's what it felt like, because we had been, at the time our last release was like 3 or 4 years old, and we weren't doing anything, and it was definitely like we needed to write that album. I needed to write that album with them, and it was just, I just wish that everything around it was better.
Yeah. Do you think in the future you guys might collab on a song? Like, are you still cool with them, or what's the relationship like right now?
I've reached out to Monty because like things between us did not end very well. There was definitely a big argument that had happened, and I think that kind of left a bitter taste in all of our mouths. I still have talked to Michael. I've always been cool with him. I've never
Michael
had
seems
any
like a pretty
issues.
chill guy.
He is. He's definitely a very chill guy. But I've had some people send me some shady things he said about me, so that wasn't cool. But I don't hold on to things like that. Like I would 100% be willing to like just be friends with those guys again, because like I spent 5 years of my life with them. Like I would literally live with them half the year just so we could write music. Like we were all really good friends. Like so I miss them as friends for sure. I don't know if
Are you guys kind of
musically
all in the same location? Because like
they're
their
in.
music video is almost similar to their Silver Spoons single. Like is it like Arizona? It looks like Arizona. You guys are all kind of located.
Yeah, so they're actually based out of California. But Lance, the director of Silver Spoon and all that stuff, from the Running Out of Time era, he's actually located in Arizona. So a lot of their like contacts come from here because they're a lot of my contacts. But yeah, I mean, it was always kind of like a thing. Like that's why, like, if I had to go out there, I had to go out there, and I had to be there for months at a time because it's a hell of a drive, and I hate it.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, they're in California, and I am in Arizona.
I've never been out west. Would you recommend it?
Oh yeah, man, it's awesome. Arizona's kind of cool, I guess. It's pretty. If you come more towards the wintertime, it's nice. And California is beautiful. I very much recommend it.
It's a big state. Would you recommend the north or the south of California?
North. I would say go north. I guess north. It's like, I don't know. That's actually kind of a tough say. I've only been south. I've only been to San Francisco once, and I guess that's probably like the farthest south I've gone. But they're kind of more like LA, San Diego area, and I loved it.
Sweet. So, what kind of music do you listen to? Like, what's your inspiration?
Oh man, I listen to,
and how it's evolved.
God. Wow. I am lucky because I grew up in a really like not musical household in the sense of like, my parents were musicians or anything. My dad played guitar, but just like for fun. Like he wasn't like a shredder or songwriter or anything. But growing up, like I listened to so much. Like I just heard so much stuff. Like my mom, she lived with my grandparents, who also had like my uncles there too. So I had like two uncles and my mom there, and my mom was listening to like country and like 80s rock
Mm-hmm.
and Nine Inch Nails. Like that was like something that was like always randomly thrown. And then like one of my uncles would be listening to like Tupac and like Marilyn Manson, and then the other one was just like listening to like Baby Bash and like a bunch of other random crap. So I was like always around like so many different types of music. And then when my mom met my adopted dad, he was always more into like 90s grunge and like West Coast hip hop. It was just a mix of those two. So that's where, like, from him, I heard Nirvana, and that was really like the first band that like just did it for me. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I'm like, keep in mind, I'm like probably 8 or 9,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, yes, Nirvana is the greatest thing in the world. And to this day, I still think Nirvana is probably the greatest thing to ever happen to this world. Um, but yeah, I guess like it really starts with that, like Nirvana, and then like I wanted to find something faster and punkier, and so I'm like 8 or 9 years old looking for punk music, and I find like Black Flag and Bad Religion and Bad Brains, and I'm like, yeah, this is it. And like the ADD in my mind is just fireworks. It's fantastic. And then my dad showed me Blink 182, and that was my first introduction to pop punk. And I was like, I need more of this. And so at the time, like, pop punk was huge. Like, this early 2000s pop punk, all right? This is prime pop punk. So that was really fun. And then, like, I was like, this is cool, but I need something darker now, because it's like, at this point, 2002, and I'm still, like, nope, not even 10 yet. Yeah. So 2002, yeah, that's 8 years old. 8 years old. I've already gone through my grunge phase. I've gone through my hardcore punk phase. I'm on my pop punk phase, and I need something else. So 2002 to about 2005, emo high point, buddy. And just like I'm just hit with The Used and My Chemical Romance and Senses Fail. Like, I'm getting all of these things at such a young age, and then, high school comes around, and it's more now, or not even high school, but, like, middle school. Middle school comes around, and it's more now, like, this, like, neon punk kind of stuff, like Cobra Starship and Gym Class Heroes and Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco. Like, so I'm getting hit with all these things, and I still, to this day, like, those... I feel like that all was really great. The time, like, I'd say probably around 2010 is when, like, I stopped listening to, like, rock music religiously, because it was it was just the chugga chugga era, and it's just, that's never been my thing. I go back now and listen to it, and I do enjoy it a lot more now as an adult. Like early Asking Alexandria and like Attack Attack.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But at the time, it just wasn't for me. So that's when I like switched more to like listening to just pop and hip hop, and because I've always been a fan. Like I always loved like West Coast hip hop because of my dad. So like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Exhibit. Not West Coast specifically, but like Eminem as well was huge to me as a kid. Like, he was literally, like, growing up, he was, like, the biggest superstar in the world, and, like, his music was just always super creative. Like, I love it. Like, to this day, I still really love Eminem. He's had one album I didn't like, and I think that's really saying something for somebody who's been around that long.
Yeah, I definitely love his older stuff. His newer stuff, like, it's good. He's very talented still, but it doesn't sound like rhythmic like he used to. It sounds more like robotic or something. Hard to describe.
Yeah, I think so I think when he was younger, he was just doing more melodic flows, like,
Yeah.
and now he's more focused on just being a, the best
The rap
fast
god.
rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's less focused, to me, it seems like, on just making like really good songs, and more just like, I can just do everything, so I guess I'll just do everything.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, like, I agree. Like, I definitely think like his older stuff is amazing. Those first three albums are masterpieces to me. And then, but yeah, man, Eminem is just, he's just amazing. And I do love everything still, and I still think he got it.
Yeah. So I will say, with your song All Night, that definitely seems like an evolution of punk rock, and if that's what you were kind of going for, if you love punk rock and stuff, like, I definitely really like that song of yours, and I think that could be like the new like age of punk rock, because that electronic with that, it actually flows really well.
Thanks, man. Like, I that's what I was going for. Like, I try to listen to everything that, that to me seems youthful and relevant and new. And I'm listening to a lot of, like, especially, I think, Travis Barker has been working with so many amazing, talented people, and I think if you listen to a lot of those artists as well, it kind of has like the same vibe and the same feel. Like, this artist Jaden, or it's Jaden Hoser, who's like he's like a TikTok guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's making like pop punk now, and it's super good. I love it. Kenny Hoopla, like, there's so much like cool artists going on right now, and I think this is such a fun time for rock music. And like, all I want to do is play my part and contribute.
Yeah,
and
everyone's
write.
being super creative. Like, they're just putting like everything that they like into one, track that they make. It's awesome.
Exactly, and that's been my goal forever. Like, even with the last band, with the last album I was a part of, it's just, I don't feel like kids necessarily care about genre really anymore. It's just like, can you make a good song?
Yeah.
I think that's all people really care about now. It's not like, I mean, of course, there's going to be people that's like, I'm a diehard metalhead. All I'll listen to is metal. All I'll listen to is punk. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's always going to be the purists and the elitists and the gatekeepers. But like,
Yep.
people younger than me and people my age, like, I think we just don't care as much anymore because we grew up listening to so much crap.
I know.
So now, and I think with the internet just being so much more accessible to kids and to just everybody, you can listen to anything you want.
Yep.
And I think that's gonna really, I'm super curious to see what the next generation of musicians are gonna do, because like, I know my generation, we're the last ones that just didn't have internet really.
I know, you only listen to like what your parents listened to, and they
Yeah,
could listen to crazy stuff, or they could just listen to '80s music all the time.
Exactly. Like, it's like, either what our parents are listening to, or if they had a little extra money and they could pay for cable, you could watch Fuse TV, and that's where I found like all of my artists.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if I'm dating myself here. I probably am, but kids younger than 20, Fuse TV was awesome, and it was everything that your parents complain MTV is what Fuse TV was. Like, it was like, all music all the time, only alternative music, only rock music, only emo music. Like, it was fantastic, and I learned of so much bands because of that. And so, like, my generation is really the last ones that's gonna have to go through that, because like, towards the end of me being in middle school, oh well, now everybody has a computer. Now YouTube is a thing. Now MySpace is a thing, and you're finding music that way now. So it's going to be interesting to see what the next generation of artists become, because they have literally everything to their fingertips. All they need to do is go on SoundCloud and find something crazy and random.
Yeah. What's the craziest stuff you listen to?
Oh man, I'm so
crazy
vanilla.
out there that no one really likes. Maybe even pick on you for.
I do it's not even like crazy or out there, but like I love, like, I really have enjoyed Justin Bieber since his Boyfriend album. I think he's fantastic, top tier, top shelf pop music.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why, but like I've always loved the Jonas Brothers, and people pick on me so much for that.
Mm-hmm.
But the Jonas Brothers, first of all right, get a little defensive here. I'm going to lawyer up a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead. Go off.
Jonas Brothers are a pop punk band. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Listen to this. First two albums, those are straight up pop punk albums. And they are 10 out of 10 pop punk albums written by teenagers. All right?
Yep.
So people should respect that, instead of picking on me.
Mm-hmm.
And now, as adults, they're making fantastic, pop alternative music. So, whatever. I guess, but legit weird stuff I listen to, that, I don't think anybody does, at least as much as me. I really love Oingo Boingo, which is Danny Elfman, the composer for, all the Tim Burton's things. That's his band. If you've heard a song, you've probably only heard Weird Science. But I love them. And then also, there's this band, Mr. Bungle, that's it's Faith No More's side project, and it's crazy circus music. Mm-hmm. At least the first album is, and I'm all about it. And then kind of even a little bit more random and out there that only I guess a very small amount of people would probably know of is Pinkly Smooth, which is the original drummer of Avenged Sevenfold, Jimmy the Rev Sullivan, rest in peace. It's his he had a side band with Sinister Gates called Pinkly Smooth, and it's also just crazy, weird, trippy circus metal.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so those are kind of my out there things. I definitely get picked on for the Justin Bieber and the Jonas Brothers, but you know what? I'm sticking to it. It's good pop music.
Yep. So, what's your future plans with Eerie Weather? You know, up and coming that you can give us a little sneak peek of, or?
So I briefly said on an Instagram post that this is part 2 of a story, and it's going to be 3 parts. So I have one more single coming out at the end of the year, probably closer towards October. My birthday is October 13th, so maybe around then. And it may get spooky, and there may be blood, and it may also be a super pop punky song with, experimental elements, much like this one. But honestly, I'm gonna just put out singles. I have album material, but for me, I think when you're a solo artist and you're at the level I'm at, you can go one of 2 ways. You can either just drop mixtape after mixtape after mixtape and hope that somebody will like it, and hope that one of the 15 things that you've just put out is good. Or you can just release really good singles and promote the hell out of that. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try my best, and I'm just going to do singles until, I get the right record contract, or, just the right opportunity comes, because I want my first album to be special, so many people release an album, or they'll release an EP, and they can promote that one EP for 3 months, and then it's stale. And then fans are just all right, well, what's next?
Right.
And it's just there's nothing next. I put it all out. So I don't want that. You know, like, I can get literally the same thing. I can market a single for 3 months minimum. And, you know, then I'll finally get all right, so what's next?
Yeah. I think, actually, I saw a post or a video of Ronnie Radke kind of saying the same thing. He's like, I don't really want to do an album again. You know, just do singles, because it keeps your audience, like, content, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
put it all out there, then they're exactly like what you were saying. When's the next album?
exactly. Yeah, no, I think it makes sense. Like, I think when you're at his level, or, you know, just any level that's like that big, you have the option. It doesn't matter, because it's gonna be the same thing regardless. You're gonna put out 3 singles that year, and those are gonna be the main thing you marketed after you just drop this an entire album. Like, you know, like, you're gonna get almost the same results. I think when you're at that level, it does better to have an album, but only if it means something. You know, I think we got lost as musicians, and as rock musicians, I'd say, especially, with, all right, well, these 3 songs were really good. They're going to be the single, and then, you know, I guess the rest of these are just filler. You know, like, I feel like we got really lost in that as a genre. You know, meanwhile, like, hip hop artists, or, you know, like, just young up and coming artists are like, yeah, here's 15 songs. Every single one of them is a single.
Yep.
It's like, oh, okay. Like, and that's what rock used to do. Rock used to make great albums, not just good albums, great albums. And I don't feel like we've really focused on doing that much as a genre. Like, and that's, you know, that's just rock as a whole. That's including, you know, like, metal and everything. We haven't been focused on writing great albums. We've been focused on writing great songs. So I think if you're going to write great songs and just great songs, stick to doing the singles. But if you want a great album, fillers shouldn't exist. Like, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Like, listen to any My Chemical Romance album, right? As a fan of that kind of music, none of those songs are filler songs. Every single one of them could justifiably be a single. They were thoroughly thought out, and they're amazing. And that's why that band stands the test of time. You know?
Yeah.
So I think every band should have that mentality when going into an album, not just like, well, we got 3 great, really, really good songs, and I guess we'll just figure out the rest later. Like, I don't know. I just don't think that's how it should go. And I think when you're at a huge level, you should really either focus on making a great album or great singles, and not just, you know, 3 good songs and, you know, filler. But when you're at my level, it's definitely like, just figure out what you're doing. You know, like, I think it makes the most sense to write incredibly your best single that you can, and push that as hard as you can to people that'll like it, because the internet is a huge place. Oh, yeah. Odds are at least 1% of those people are going to like your song, and it only takes 1% of those people. So for me, like, I'm just going to keep doing that, and then if the right record contract comes along or whatever, hell yeah. Give me $500,000 and I will put out the best album you've heard in 30 years. But until then, I'm just going to keep making great singles, you know?
Yeah, man. I cannot wait to hear what you do next, man.
It's going to be different. You know, I have this year planned out with, you know, the last single. I have the music video and everything, you know, ready to go shoot. Song is fully finished, and then I also have all of next year's releases planned out and finished. Like, I'm definitely ready for everything this year. You know, 3-part story ends and something new begins. Next year, I'll tell a little bit about it.
Right.
Next year, it's gonna be a little less pop punk and a little more grungy. Still a little pop punky, mostly grungy. And there might be the biggest rock anthem you've heard in a while.
Man, I'm excited. Do you plan on doing any more covers of any other songs you like, or?
Actually, I do. I have a cover planned out for New Year's. Yeah, sure, why not? I'll tell you what it is.
All right.
I am going to cover Hole's Celebrity Skin. I love that song. It is super sweet, and I think it'll be really cool to do that. It's one of my favorite Hole songs. It was written by Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins, which I also love. So I'm super excited to do that one. And I have a couple other covers planned out, but I don't know when I'm gonna finish them. But that one is coming out January 1st, 2022.
Sweet. I can't wait to hear those, man. But I thank you so much for hopping on, Daimen, to talk with me for a bit. And I would definitely like to reach out to you again and have you on again in the near future.
Heck yeah, man. I'm always down. This was a blast. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much.